Welcome, people. This is 45RPENNS with Ernie Enns and Nigel Bart. And today, I was just thinking beforehand of something, and I was thinking of throwing in a tagline that music is going to save the world. I feel like it is.
I like that.
The universal language.
I like that.
You know, we're in times.
Sounds like a song title. Music is going to save the world.
Yeah. And, you know, we're here talking at GPAC, Golden Prairie Arts Council in Carmen, Manitoba. We're going to be talking about music, collecting, and everything in between.
Yeah.
And Ernie's an expert on collecting, and I'm about everything in between. I'm going to talk about a little thing to kick it off here. This here is a little 45, special 45 I picked up when I was 12 years old in 1988.
That's
it's the Love Bites 45, and on the back it's got Billy's Got a Gun. It's a live version in Liverpool bar in Liverpool, England, is it, or is Ireland Liverpool?
No, England.
I think
show the gatefold of it like that.
Well, it's a lyric spread, so it's got like a lyric, all the lyrics in there. So like it's got all the lyrics to the whole album, and at the time there was no printing of these lyrics, not even in the album. So this is a special little collector edition.
That is very rare. You know, have a 45.
Yeah.
Gatefold album look.
Yeah.
You know,
so it's got a little wrinkle in there, but it's been well used, I could say. Anyway, so what I was gonna say about this little album, Def Leppard. You know, when I was about 12 years old, you know, I went to a little music store in Garden City.
Oh no!
I can't remember what it was called at the time. This would have been 1988, and I was just a little kid, and we'd go there every once in a while, and well, lots, because my brothers and I were music collectors, so like we were big into music, we were musicians, and I found the CD or the tape, you know, Hysteria by Def Leppard, and at that moment, it was a random sort of pick. It felt random. Yeah. But when I heard it, like, oh my gosh, like I was filtering through a bunch of songs, and that changed sort of everything when I actually put the tape in my little machine.
I know that feeling. Yeah.
And it was like, suddenly it was like, just like an awakening. So,
the stars have aligned.
Yeah, I mean, I'd never heard these guys before, but it was quite remarkable, and I started listening to this tape. Or I must have purchased like maybe 15 of those tapes, because it was a longer album, this album, and I'd play it to death. You know, and stretch the tapes, and it was like,
no way.
So I must have played about 15 of them, like bought them over and over again, because they just stretch out.
So you had none left? No cassettes left?
I don't have any. Well, I have a cassette left, the last one, but it still is too stretched out.
Ah, still collector item.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
But so Def Leppard comprises of Joe Elliott, Rick Savage, Steve Allen. Well, Steve Allen passed away. After this album, he overdosed and didn't make it. And then Steve Clark. No, I got that mixed up. Sorry. Steve Clark was the guitar player, the rhythm guitar, who overdosed. Steve Allen is the drummer. Now the drummer, this band is kind of like, as you say, a tragic band, because well, they're still successful. They're still running their career. They just came out with a new single called Kick, so they're still producing music, and it's pretty good. Yeah. They're old. They're not old. I don't like saying old, but they're seniors. You know, like they're about 65 maybe or something. Yeah. So Steve Allen, the drummer, lost his arm.
Yeah.
In with an accident when he was at the previous album, like after the previous album was released, and yeah, they were. I mean, there's a documentary on these guys called Historia, and basically, apparently, according to the movie, he was like under the influence driving, and then kind of launched his car into the ditch and actually has severed his arm.
So
he's a drummer.
He lost his arm while he was while he was in the band. I don't know much about them, but
and he's one of the most remarkable drummers. Like, he plays with the foot pedals and one arm. Yeah. So that would be Steve Allen. Okay. And now get these guys right. Phil Collin, who's the guitar. They're all there's 5 of them. Now the band's since changed up. They've added a different guitar player after Steve Clark passed away. Yeah. So anyway, someone's here. Hi there.
Hello.
How are ya?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Good luck.
Okay. Yeah, we're
Are you close?
we are closed, but you can have a look. We're just doing a little thing here in the back. I hope you don't mind. We're doing a little recording.
Sure.
Yeah. So anyway, when I found this album, it was magic to my ears, and part of it was the harmonies of Def Leppard. So the harmonies were what kind of like got my ear, and they grabbed my ear, and now these guys were considered a hair band at the time.
Yeah, I suppose.
Hair metal sort of thing, but they're more like a Chicago version of hair metal. Like there were rugged bands like Guns N' Roses at the time, which were more they were more like crass, and almost like a lot of imagery was a little bit misogynistic, like just like dark stuff. But this album was these guys were very much softer heavy metal, if that makes sense at the time. Softer heavy metal.
I didn't know much about them actually.
Yeah, so
but from what I've heard, they're tight. Good.
Yeah, they're a very tight band.
Good guitar player for sure.
Yeah, and they sound just as good hearing at the stadium as in real life. Now this 45 has a little side B is Billy's Got a Gun, and it was shot in Liverpool, recorded in Liverpool. No, wait a second. July 87, Tilburg. Not Liverpool, Tilburg.
So they're an English band.
They're Brits, yeah.
Brits.
And in Tilburg there, they must have had a little bit too much drinking, because on side B of this album, they were a little bit off key.
The library.
It was a little too much party, you could tell. So, anyways, great album is Love Bites. The review is wonderful. As a collector item, it's even more wonderful if you like the idiosyncratic little aspects. So.
I think that's pretty rare.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think I picked up for probably, at the time it would have been $10, but or something like that. 12.
Yeah, probably.
So, how are you doing today? You worked hard today?
I'm doing just fine. Not overly, no.
He's lying because he works hard every day.
Well, yeah.
Really hard.
Yeah.
You're probably like Superman.
I was prepping a room for paint. So I did some sanding and I did some repairing, and I'm just refreshing somebody's bathroom. So
wow.
So that's not overly hard work. It's nice inside. It's a little chilly outside, so I was inside. So that was kind of nice. And yeah.
Now this shirt you're wearing is beautiful.
I know, isn't it awesome?
That's what is that, and where'd you get it? Because I want it, and I might tear it off you before you leave.
When I saw this, in Old Navy.
That's an Old Navy shirt.
That's an Old Navy shirt. When I saw it in there, it's just like, bang.
Yeah, it's a 40. That's yours, man.
That one's coming home with me.
Nice, man.
And they're cheap. Like Old Navy is like, I don't know, what, 10, 12 bucks or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are, but
the design is awesome. It's
Isn't it?
totally
Like,
you.
just-
Like,
and every once in a while, yeah, and you go in there, and I check Old Navy for this sort of stuff, and then you'll find stuff with Ghetto Blaster on it.
yeah.
You know, stuff like that. That's what I like.
Now it almost reminds me of the Def Leppard neon stuff going on in the, and you know, it's like that whole style. Like,
I know.
today you're 80s, man. So
I guess so.
it's
Yeah,
like an
I guess.
80s neon.
I guess so. Yeah.
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 But it's beautiful shirt.
Yeah. This shirt I have hanging in my music room, just over top of my turntable.
Oh,
Where
nice,
else?
man. Nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
so this is actually an ornament out of my music room, but I use it. I wear it occasionally. Yeah.
So this guy dresses so chicly every day, even to the job. He's carpentry, but look at the jeans, man. Designer jeans. Look at the boots you're wearing. Hold your boot up.
These
These are rubbers. but-
yeah, look at all the mud on there, and so
Yeah. No, but you're a total designer.
Oops.
You know, so I want to point that out, like, you know, because he's a guitar player, and in many respects, like, you gotta look sharp when you're up there playing guitar, and he's like you're a well-kept
I don't know.
rocker, I'd say, well-kept, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you haven't seen my latest project, have you?
I have not, but,
Yeah.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
He made a box set. I think I said that in another
Oh,
episode,
yeah.
but, like, oh my gosh, like, that's beautiful. That he gifted me.
Well, it's woodworking. I like woodworking, and so I had these little boxes. I cut these squares and I routed it out in the middle on each one. And I love doing this stuff. And the size of a CD, exactly the size of a CD in a square. And then I thought, you know, if I had my 2 instrumental CDs, I just have guitar music on it, which I do in my own computer. Then I could put them in a little clear case, and I could set them in there. And I put a little piece of kind of a dark green velvet or something, cloth,
yeah.
which I bought for like 25 cents for, you know, this much
Yeah.
at a fabric store, and I put it in there. And then when I put those 2 CDs here and put the hinges on and close it, I can call it a box set because it's in a.
It's a real box set.
It's
Like,
in a
you would
wooden
make
box.
if you could pump those out, like, you know, like if you made them
Well,
a product, man.
I've
like,
never
you'd-
made 2 the same. Like I'll stain in different colors. Some I'll leave clear. I made one pure white, and I gave that to Susie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Susie.
Susie.
Yeah, she does. She has art in here.
Yeah.
I gave that white one to her,
Very nice,
Yeah.
man. That's
and she loved it, and so yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's good, man. Like, I always find, you know, from our past conversations as an observer, like, you're someone who doesn't, you take good care of what you have. You know, a good steward.
Well,
know,
just on the topic of woodworking, my latest project is. I guess I haven't shown it to you. I mean,
No.
I've taken it to band practice a few times. I had a guitar that I bought at a pawn shop, and a Telecaster that I found in a pawn shop, and it had no strings on it. You know, it's your typical story of the guitar player goes in, and this guitar has no strings on it, but you buy it out of instinct. You feel it, and it's like, I like this thing. I like it. And it came with a hard shell case, and it was kind of, well, it wasn't all that good to shape.
What color was it?
Well, just wood.
Oh, it's just the wood.
kind of pine wood. And so I played that for a couple of decades.
Yeah.
I found this in the early 90s. I think it was 91 or something like that. I bought that guitar.
Right. Yeah.
And so I played it for a couple of decades.
Yeah.
And then it started to, you know, volume button and stuff on the guitar started to fail, that sort of thing. And so I thought, you know, this is a cheap guitar. I deserve a really nice guitar. I mean, I do a lot of playing, so I went to the music store, and after shopping around a bit, went to a few different ones. I ended up buying this Mexican telly. I couldn't get I wanted to buy an American one just because they seemed to hold their value better.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I found this Mexican telly, and it fit the bill. Exactly all the features I wanted were on this guitar, and so I bought it. Now, it was about 4 years ago. It's a 2016 telly, Mexican telly.
Yeah.
So, so I've played that for the last 4 years, and then a couple of months ago, I thought about my other telly sitting in the case all tore apart, because I took it apart over the years, and so, so the pickguard was here, and electronics were over in that box, and that sort of thing, and so it's that. And then I was going to have it painted. I was going to take it in and have it painted somewhere.
Yeah.
And but I didn't. For some reason. I just never got around to taking it anywhere and get it painted. Couldn't decide on a color.
1 second. See, thanks for dropping in. I don't want to rush you, but I just wanted to say, we're just in the midst of a recording, but thanks for dropping in.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for, I'll lock the door now after she leaves, so we can just let her run for a second. I'll let
we're going to take a coffee break right now.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt that story. We'll repeat it.
And it's good coffee, by the way. I don't know what kind of coffee it is, but you put enough French vanilla in there, it's awesome. Whatever it is.
Yeah, I just wanted to let her know that we weren't just leaving her. Do you want coffee?
No, I'm good.
Oh, did you fill it?
Oh, yeah. I'm just
nice.
I'm just sitting here in that.
Okay,
anyway,
so the rewind.
Rewind a little bit.
And then tell me that story over again. About tell the Telecaster story again.
Yeah, the Telecaster, which I played for quite a few years, and it started to fail, so I bought another telly, and I've been playing that one for 4 years, and now, a couple of months ago, I thought, I'm going to work on that telly, and I wanted to paint it a color, and I couldn't decide on what color to paint it. And that's a tough thing to do. You go through color samples, and, there's 1,000 colors, and there's telly has, or guitars have so many colors, and so I was thinking all these different colors, and then one day I was in the local co-op looking through the paints, and now I'm ready to the point where I want to paint this thing. So I was pretty serious about buying a paint and painting it myself. Mm-hmm. And so I found the one that caught my eye. That's the one you got to go with, right?
Yes.
And so I had the kids down there. There's a guy and a girl, young kids, teenage kids, and they're not. Probably just about still teens, whatever, helping me pick colors, and everybody had their own opinion about this, so it was kind of fun picking colors.
Was it your kids, or was it?
No, it was it was a couple that works in there.
Oh, cool.
A young guy and a young girl.
Yeah.
And anyway, so they all had different preferences, of ideas or what this guitar should look like, but the one that caught my eye when I first walked up, I thought, I'm going to go with that one because that's the one that caught my eye.
Yeah.
And looking on the internet at different guitar colors and stuff, that's the one that caught my eye every time too, is just pink. It was pink. Like the Fender company has a paint color called shell pink.
Yes.
That's just what they call it. And so I bought this pink paint, it was Krylon brand.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a good brand. I think it's made for plastics and everything. Like, it's a pretty good paint.
Yeah.
But it's called Ballet Slipper. That's the name of the
Very
paint.
Nice.
So anyway, I went home and I painted my body on the guitar, and I painted it. And I think about 3 or 4 coats on there. I'm not sure exactly. Just you touch it up a little bit here and there, and then another coat. And so 3 or 4 coats, something like that. Yeah. And I was done. So I went to the music shop and I bought a black pickguard instead of a white one, because I thought black would go better even though most of the tellies I saw on the internet were white pickguard with pink.
Yeah.
I wanted to go with black.
I want to interrupt you for a second.
Okay.
I've been looking at, when you said you're doing a pink Telecaster, I wanted to highlight another artist who did pink guitars, and that's Steve Vai, one of the best guitarists. He played with David Lee Roth, and he was quintessential Pink guitar man. One of the best guitars ever, coming out of
what brand is it?
Late 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
It's Ibanez. He's an Ibanez player. But
yeah.
is such like he was one of the most styling guitar players, still is.
Yeah.
Like he had such character to him. And yeah, and I would say, like, you know, in terms of some of his other guitars, you look up Steve Vai, who played, he has his own solo career, but like, he's
I know Stevie Vai, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not different than, I think, yeah, Stevie, you know, I think you're thinking of Steve, yeah, the blues guy.
No, Steve Vai.
Is this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Steve Vai. I have a VHS from back, and it was called G3.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard that?
No, I haven't heard that one.
Do you have a VHS player? Because I can lend it to you. It's the G3 is Joe Satriani, Stevie Vai, and Eric Johnson.
Oh,
those three guys, they do. Well, it shows them individually, like doing concerts, how they do concerts. And then at the end, they all get together and they do, and it's pretty good. So I know about Stevie Vai.
Yeah,
he's one of those players.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, Eric Johnson is probably my favorite guitar player.
Nice.
And Stevie Vai and Joe Satriani are playing with with Eric Johnson. That tells you something. You know?
Yeah.
They're just.
What about? Do you know Stevie Ray Vaughan? That artist, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
Not the same guy you're talking about.
No.
Yeah,
Stevie Ray. He's passed away. Have you ever seen the movie? We're getting a little sidetracked from the telly.
Crossroads.
Crossroads.
Crossroads. That's Stevie Ray Vaughan. Steve Vai.
That's Steve Vai.
Because Steve Vai plays the devil.
He's playing the devil, yeah. And do you know who's playing for what's the kid's name? Whatever.
Little Italian kid from Karate Kid.
Yeah, he was
Joe. Is it Joe or is
Chachi or?
Yeah. That's
I don't know. Whatever his name is.
Yeah.
On that movie, you know who's playing guitar for him? Like his part is Ry Cooder.
Right.
Ry Cooder does that because I have the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And he does a song in there called, well, we're getting away from Stevie Vai now.
It's so good, man.
But he does a song in there called "Feeling Bad Blues."
I think I've heard it.
You've got to hear that song. Like it's just one of those songs. It's just you know, like I can almost feel my hairs like now just talking about it. It's so good, and it's just a blues song, a slow blues song. Because his girl walked out on him, like while they were, you know, hitchhiking across America or whatever they were doing. His girlfriend walked out on him, and so he sat down, and that's when, according to the movie anyway, that's when he started to learn the blues properly, because now he was playing from experience, not just with his head, right?
That's right.
And so that's what that movie's all about, is learn to be a blues player, not from education, but from experiences. So it's a great movie.
It is, man.
Great movie, and in the end, the good guy wins, which is great.
Yeah.
I always want the good guy to win.
That's right, man. That's right.
But anyway, back to the telly. I have never shown this to you, I guess.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. It's got a black guard.
It is
and
beautiful.
a nice silver pickups and like accessory.
Yeah,
so
it
was
so
beautiful.
It was like essentially kind of like a old beat up pawn shop guitar.
I love it.
And
you just hold it. The camera's still running.
Yeah, and so it's pink, but that's the color I wanted. And so what I did when I put it together, I bought a new pickup. For the front pickup, I bought a new noiseless. It's a Fender noiseless pickup.
Oh, nice.
And now the guitar sounds like I've always wanted a guitar to sound like. I've always wanted to have a guitar that sounds like this, and I never quite got there until now. So now I also have the guitar that sounds exactly like I want it to. The tone, not only the tone, but playability. Like you can do rhythm and any style. It doesn't matter if it's country or rock or whatever. You can do rhythm with it.
Yeah.
You switch that, you flip that little pickup, that little button over there to the front. And
changes the tone.
Yeah, a little bit. And the lead is just wonderful on it. I do a lot of fingerstyle picking, and it's great for fingerstyle, and just everything about that guitar I love. So anyway, that's my latest project, and I get to play it Sunday live for the first time.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. So you're doing a gig. You're having a gig.
I'm playing in church Sunday morning.
That's a gig, man. That's a serious gig.
That's a serious gig.
You want to mess it up.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome.
Yeah. So, that's really cool. I played clarinet in church for a long time. I used to. I used to be in the choir. I played clarinet, sing a little bit, but played clarinet.
We're going to have to, one of these days, haul our equipment out and we'll sit here and we'll do some live music.
Yeah. Or just like display it at least, you know. Yeah. I know that the clarinet might scare away some people. It's quite a squawky instrument sometimes. Anyways, what do you think of pulling out a 45?
Oh, yeah. We haven't talked about 45s today yet. So, yeah. And if we're going to do 45s at 5.
45.
And so, yeah, the 45 I was thinking of is collectors.
Mm-hmm.
The collectors. And I'm going to pull that thing on here without moving this mic here too much. And so we have a record here, and I'll talk about it a little bit before I show it to you.
Let's make sure we're still running here again. Give me a sec. Let's just shut up. Still going?
So, yeah, we are still live. Anyway, so back in, early 70s, I guess it would have been. Yeah, this came out in 70s. So early 70s, I'm just a young kid, and I remember we lived downstairs in the basement with my brother, Rob, and Rob was a music lover too. And when I say was, it's just I haven't seen him since '94, so he's been missing for almost 30 years. Missing. It's a long story, and he chose to leave the family. And I'm hoping he comes back someday. But anyway, and there's a few songs that remind me of him, and this is one of them. And all I remember about the song years later, like I told you about my little cassette player, and then I'd record all this music on, Sunday afternoons. I'd sit there and record music and keep the songs. I couldn't afford to buy records. I couldn't go anywhere. We grew up in the country. We weren't too affluent. But anyway, and so I would collect these songs, and then I found this. So I had a little piece of this song, and the only thing I remember about the song is got my education in a 3-room school. And actually, I had forgotten even that. I just remembered the 3-room school.
Yeah.
And because what happened was I had a little piece of this song recorded.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years down the road, there was a song came on radio called Lion Eyes by the Eagles.
Yeah.
It was a brand new song on the radio. It just sounded so awesome. I grabbed a cassette and I recorded it. Realized afterwards that the cassette I had taken had this song 3-room school on it, so the song was gone.
Oh no.
The song was gone. So all I had to go with in my list of songs there is 3-room school. It was called that.
Yeah.
So, and then years later, one day I was in the Sound Exchange in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And this song is, well, I'll show it to you or tell you who the band is later. But I didn't know who the band was. I didn't know who played the song. I don't remember how the song went. All I knew was 3-room school, and I liked the song. So I hunted for the song, but once the internet came, I would type in 3-room school, nothing. So you could just try it. So it was kind of, I don't know, I just kind of knew I couldn't get it. And one day I was in that Sound Exchange and looking through the records, and the kid, it was a father and son that ran it, and the young guy, he said, well, I got some more records back here that I keep behind me. He said, they're not out in the boxes.
Right.
And so he pulled them out, and he laid them on the counter, and I went through them. And for some reason, I looked at the collectors. It said the collectors, and it had 1970 written on it. And that always had a lot to do with my that's the music I liked. It was early 70s. And I thought 1970 Collectors could be something that I know and just have forgot about or something. Could be something. So I bought this record and took it home, and I had a stack of records. I think I had about 6 or 7 that day that I bought. And I had my turntable set up beside the computer, and so I'm working on my music collection here, this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I put these 45s on one at a time and played them. And while I'm sitting on the computer, I put this one on, and all of a sudden, my ear starts to go to that music. That sounds familiar. That music sounds familiar. And all of a sudden, the guy sings, "Got my education in a 3-room school." It's like, no way.
Oh my gosh.
No way, that's what it was.
That?
It was that song. It was
really?
That song. So I listened to the whole song, and so on. Now I knew who did it. Yeah. And the Collectors ended up being Chilliwack. They changed their name to Chilliwack. And then right after this, they had a song on the radio called Sundown, which nobody knows either. And it was off of their, I think their first album as Chilliwack, I think. It was off of there. And that also was an awesome song that I loved, and I have that 45 too. But this, I didn't know who this was. So anyway, I ended up getting this 45. That's what it looks like, and it's on London label, and it's called "I Must Have Been Blind." And I guess I must have been blind because I couldn't find it for decades.
Oh my!
And so anyway, that's the story of "I Must Have Been Blind" by the Collectors. So that's one of my rare records that I really appreciate having, and so
very nice.
And that's it.
Very nice.
That's it for the Collectors. And I've talked to, I guess, or whatever. I've met Bill Henderson in person. Oh. His band, like Chilliwack. This is probably, it's got to be 15 years ago. I don't know how long ago, 15 years ago maybe. But we went to a club, a nightclub at Coyotes, I think it was called, on Pembina Highway.
Yeah.
I went to Coyotes because Chilliwack was playing there.
Yeah.
And so I remember sitting there and watching Chilliwack live, and it was awesome. And then as an encore, or the last song, when they ended, they played "Fly at Night." They did that song, and that's my favorite Chilliwack song. And when they were done playing, I stood up from my chair, and I walked over to him, and I asked him for his guitar pick, and he gave it to me. So I have Bill Henderson's guitar pick at home, which I don't use because I don't want to lose it. But
that's awesome.
So I met the guy kind of just for a brief moment that I met him. Yeah,
that's sweet.
Yeah. So and that's it for my story of the Collectors and my hunt.
I know Chilliwack. Like, speaking of Chilliwack, like, that again, like the sound of Chilliwack coming out of the 80s with, there was definitely a crossover from the 70s sound to the 80s sound. Also, Chicago too. Chicago.
Oh, I love Chicago.
See, Chicago I fell in love with at about like the Steve's, or is it Satira? Not Steve, Satira. Paul?
No.
Peter Satira.
Yeah. Peter,
so Peter Satira's sound was like "You're the Inspiration" came out. Like, I think it was. I latched onto them. Speaking of that little guy from Karate Kid.
Oh yeah. What was his name?
I'll have to find it, but
yeah.
Here, let's look it up so we don't botch this. But his name, the Karate Kid kid. He's coming to our inspiration here right now.
Yeah,
so his name is. We'll search up Karate Kid.
Yeah, I know his name. I just can't think of it now. And
there's the cast.
But
and Ralph Macchio.
Yeah,
there he is, Ralph. So Ralph Macchio was in. I remember watching the Karate Kid. Oh, my disc's almost full. Save space pile. Hold on. You gotta figure this out. This is the same stuff that happened before. So just see if it stops. Give it a second. I don't know if it's. What it doesn't do is record it properly, but hopefully it will. I can rotate, I guess. Oh yeah, here goes.
You won't be in there, will you?
Yeah. Damn.
Turn it a little bit because we don't need this chair in there.
Hold on.
Oh, there you go.
Let's do it.
There.
Let's try that. Hold on. Just kind of.
Yeah, I think we'll have to do that. There you
Okay.
go. That'll be nice. A little more. You could tilt it a little more.
Yeah.
We don't need my coffee cup in there.
Yeah, actually, it's like this. I'll put something under there. A little fluffy. Hopefully this doesn't muffle the microphone. Is that better? A little better? Okay, that's good enough. I swear, it's the best I can get it.
Okay, perfect.
A little crooked, but so Ernie, hold on. This recording technology is difficult. You'll see the camera jumping around like crazy. That's weird. I just got a serious kind of email there. I'll come back to that. But here we go. So I will resume the conversation.
We are talking about Chicago.
Chicago. Ralph Macchio, Peter Cetera, Knight in Shining Armor. Do you remember that song?
No.
I'll be your knight in shining armor. It was like a sweet song. And
So that was after Chicago days, like for Peter.
That was after Chicago for Peter.
Because he was, yeah.
I mean, yeah, he had left by that time. He started Chicago. He was one of the starter Chicago
I think there was two of them kind of. I forget who the other guy was.
But and then he took off on his solo career, and then basically I discovered Chicago through Peter Cetera's solo career in the 80s, like 85 or something, 84, 85.
Oh, no, yeah, I loved them through the 70s. And do you know how they lost their guitar player?
No.
You should read that story or check it out.
Tragic?
Tragic.
That's horrible.
Like,
you know?
Such a great guitar player. Like when you hear Chicago stuff, like it's crazy what that guy could do, you know.
I know, I've heard. Like, I mean, obviously.
Yeah, what was his name? If I saw it or heard it, then I'd know it right away. Guitar player for Chicago. And so, let's see if we can find that. Get that name here quickly. What was his name? Yeah, there he is. Oh yeah, Terry Kath.
Oh yeah.
And you know how he died? He died just by plain, I don't know if you call it an accident or just silliness or whatever, but he had a pistol. He had a gun, like a pistol I don't know if it was at a band practice. He was with his wife or his girlfriend anyway at the time. I should read the story, so I get the facts right. But essentially, he had this gun, and he said, "It's empty. Look, it's empty. It's like that." And he did like that. Put it to his head, and he pulled the trigger, and he blew his brains out.
Oh.
So he died. With an empty gun, he was just showing that, no, it's empty. Don't worry about it. Bang.
Oh my gosh, that's
killed
brutal.
Him. And the talent that guy had, like.
Yeah.
And he talks about it here a little bit. So.
Yeah. And
so he died on January 23rd, 1978. In Woodland Hills, Los Angeles, California.
Oh.
And Camelia Kath, his wife. That was his wife at the time. She was with him when that happened. Yeah. So, yeah. But they had a lot of good songs. Chicago had a lot of good songs, like Saturday in the Park.
Yeah.
But
speaking of, all of this, the tragic musician lifestyle, like we start with Steve Clark from Def Leppard, and then jump to
Terry
Kath, and you mentioned that, not that it's any relevance, like because your brother went missing, and
yeah.
And I don't know even what the backstory is there, but I'm thinking like. I think and then I don't know if I was on camera when I was explaining that, you know, I kind of had my own problems around, you know, like back when, and I was just thinking, like, you know, it's times like these that we're living in, you know, so unsteady times, like when there's volatile politics happening around the world, that if you want to even call it politics, it's like, you know, warfare. But when these things happen, people get scared and they react, like their bodies physically, they go, they lose it. And not to say that's the reason why Steve Clark and Terry Kath did that, but you know, like the mental health aspect of anyone on the planet, like let alone like musicians and artists, I feel are sensitive people. Like we interpret differently. So that's it. Well, but you know, I was just saying, like, interesting how the you know, fame and fortune, you know, obviously play sometimes, you know, do a number on people too. Like when you get like millions of dollars for making the best song ever, and then you're asked to do it a million times after that, like that would just mess me up. I don't know. Like,
well, I know when we have band practice, there are certain songs that I just request, let's not do this song for a while, because you learn to hate that song after a while. There's one song I never want to hear again because we've done it so much, you know, and that's the thing. You don't want that to happen to any song. You know, so I know exactly what you mean. Like, you gotta feel bad for Johnny Cash singing Folsom Prison Blues, you know, or Ring of Fire, you know, like, you know, you just start to hate that song so much.
And it's his own song, so it would sound weird to him anyway. Like, what is so nice about this song, you know?
And so you get a lot of bands, a lot of people, when they do songs live, they'll do them different than the record. Right? Because they're so tired of doing it the same way. But the whole audience has paid money to see him do it the original way. You know, that's the way I am. I want to hear it. I want to hear the guy do it exactly original type thing. And so, but you can't blame them for changing it up a little, you know.
Of course.
So, but anyway, that's sidetracking a little bit. But yeah, Chicago was a really good band. And I got to really like that song. Well, we haven't even mentioned this song yet. My own personal favorite Chicago song is an album song that was never on radio, and it's called Flight 602.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do you know that song?
I've heard of it. I don't know if I delved into it.
I could play you a little piece.
Go for it, man.
Yeah, you want to hear it?
Snippet.
Because I just pulled it up here a second ago, because I haven't listened to it much because it's not in my collection. Because it wasn't on the radio, so.
Right.
But let's bring this down, let's bring this up. And this song is called Flight 602, and the way I got to know it was back in 1970. This is off of Chicago 3. I'm just going by memory here. So 71. Back in 71, and the reason I say 71 is because Lovin' You Ain't Easy by Pagliaro was on radio at the time when I discovered this song, because I hung out with a friend of mine. He had this little Volkswagen, and he had a little player in there, and we had this 8-track, and where this 8-track came from, I have no idea, but we had Chicago 3 8-track. And we put it in there, and we listened to this. Well, at the time, it was very unorthodox. You know, Chicago was kind of ahead of their time, and listened to this very, very unorthodox type music. And it would play and play and play. But there was one song that caught my ear, and it was so good, it was worth listening to the whole. You know how you can't do nothing with an 8-track? You have to listen to the whole thing.
Right.
And it was so good, you go through those other songs, and you kind of hang in there, and you listen to this song. And the harmonies are just killer good. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. hear the finger on the string.
Whoa.
I know. Isn't that a crazy good song?
Oh my gosh, it's awesome, man.
Isn't that a nice song?
That's a very cool song.
That's a great song. It's definitely my favorite Chicago song. It's one of my favorite songs, period.
Yeah.
But it was never, that's what I mentioned one time. We should do songs that never made the radio. Great songs. And that would be one of them, right?
Right. Yeah. That's an awesome song.
It's a very good song.
Good lyrics, too.
Good
really
lyrics. The
lyrics.
harmonies are just incredibly good.
Right.
And the way they sing those little, I don't know what they're called, flatted notes, and they sing in there is like is it ever good? It's just crazy.
You listen to the later stuff too, eh? Like, have you listened to 80s Chicago?
I'll
play you one.
Yeah. I probably haven't.
Well, look one up, like, on your YouTube, because my phones are being occupied. But
okay, so what do you want?
There's this song called, by Chicago, Just Say You Love Me. It's a love song. But
Just Say You Love Me by Chicago.
Or I think it's called Forever or something. Maybe it's Forever for the rest of your life or something. There it is. Let's give it a listen. Is the same guy singing?
Yeah.
Same?
Well, as the other one, I don't know.
Yeah, but that song is great too. Like it just.
I think actually he was. I think on the Flight 602. I think this guy was singing backup harmonies. It sounded like it anyway.
There's actually 3 singers. Like there was Peter Cetera, and then two other guys like in the
the newer 80s version, like there was like a guy with a gruffer voice, and this guy had the clearest voice, and he'd go the highest range. Like he was amazing. So
yeah, there was a guy with a gruffer voice.
Yeah,
for sure.
But we're gonna wind up because my phone's gonna die there, and we got hold on. What time we got here? We've been going for 50 minutes according to this phone with a few intermissions.
So we gotta cut it down to 45.
45. So we'll try to like and we're gonna go off camera too a little bit, and I wanted to like play a few tunes with Ernie just after, but I was thinking like talking about to recap this version or this session, we started off with Def Leppard and the 45 Love Bites.
I know, that was very cool.
And then we started talking about we were conversing about I'm trying to remember where we went.
I don't know. I know different things we talked about, but I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead, jump in.
I don't know what was next, but we talked about guitars and stuff.
The guitar, right?
We
the
talked
Strats.
about guitars, and we talked about early Chicago stuff. We played something here, and we talked a little bit about Tragic.
The Tragic
stuff, and when it comes to Tragic, one of the names that comes to mind for me is Badfinger. And we'll have to talk about that sometime. And all this stuff, I mean, you can find it on the internet, all the information you want, but it's still very interesting to hear it.
And why is that? That'll be a leading question in another podcast, maybe next one. But so why do artists, so many artists?
Well, Boston, another one comes to mind. Lead singer for Boston.
Yeah.
So tragic. A voice like no other. Like Brad Delp was his name, and just so sad.
Yeah, it is tragic and it's sad, and I don't know, maybe like the way we could end this little conversation would be like, sometimes I look at like winning a lottery, or like imagine if you're just a young musician, like just starting out, and suddenly 18 years old, and suddenly you're launched in front of the world with billions of dollars in your pocket, and what would you do? Like, and just like I don't know, like I think that would be a death sentence for me. 18 years old, no maturity, man. Who can handle that?
Who can handle that? It would be probably a huge majority of the population could not.
I'd say 99% would just fall to the ground. Like they would not be able to handle that.
So is it a great thing to be a hit? I don't know.
There's no privacy. There's no.
I'm pretty
there's
happy
so many
playing my deli just on
and
my
temptation galore. Like you talk about addiction to song. Well, when you have $1 billion in your pocket and you're asked to go to parties, like there's addiction galore and temptation.
Absolutely. Yeah, there would be lots and lots of temptation, and I mean.
And that reminds me of that Chicago song. So Flight 602 is similar. Like when I was listening to those lyrics, I don't know if I'm accurate on that. But it talks about being this Canada dude and just wanting to be in California.
Yeah.
And it's like, very potent message
so
there.
Far from where you want to be.
Yeah, and two guys in Canada here listening to Flight 602 want to be in California. Maybe in the warmth, possibly. No, it's warm here.
I'd rather be sitting in the room here and learning to play that song. That's where I like to be. That's sort of thing, eh?
We'll have to try.
The chord progression in it is just so good.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh,
it's such a good produced record, and the engineering on it is so perfect. You can hear the finger on the string is moving. You can hear all that. It's just so nice.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, thank you, Ernie. That was RPNs, 45 RPNs. That would be our 4th installment, and a little choppy because we had technical problems and I didn't have my charger. But Ernie did a stellar job following my script. My script sometimes goes, but thanks, Ernie.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank
you know, Ernie's reliable.
Yeah,
he's a reliable one. So, thank you very much. Thank you, Ernie.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
And we'll stop the video.
Take care. We'll see you next week.
Next week.
Next